Okay, here are your notes for chapter 3. Chapter 3 is all about the cycling of matter in the biosphere. Okay, so cycling of organic matter. So the matter that we have on this planet is all that's available. Okay, the Earth is a closed system. Okay, we can get energy in from the sun, but we can't get any matter in, I guess, unless like a meteorite or something like that hits, but then there's usually other consequences with that. Okay, so we need to recycle and cycle all this matter that makes up everything on our Earth. So to maintain life, equilibrium, all this matter must be recycled. Okay, so every carbon atom is recycled again and again. So you participate in this cycle when you eat, when you excrete what you've eaten or what you eat and don't use, okay, and then when you die. Okay, all of that carbon just goes back into the cycles. Okay, properties of water. So water is polar molecule made of hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, most of you took chem last semester, so we talked about what polar means, but just basically it has a little bit of a electromagnetic charge, just a very small one. So we get one side's positive, the other side's negative, so it is attracted to other water molecules. Okay, and so yeah, they're held together using hydrogen bonds. Again, that hydrogen bond is just due to the difference in electronegativity. Okay, and since it's a large difference in water between the oxygen and the hydrogen, we get a good pull, like our oxygen becomes fairly negative and our hydrogen fairly positive. So why is water so important? It's an excellent solvent, meaning that a lot of different things will dissolve in it. Okay, it absorbs and releases thermal energy, so like it controls a lot of our climate and our weather. Okay, if you think of like the climates around the oceans, things like that, they're usually a little more temperate than if you don't have a large body of water near you. Okay, and water makes up over 60% of cells' mass. So like we're made of cells, and 60% of those cells is water. Okay, the cycles you need to know for this unit. Okay, and each one, like section 3.1, I think is hydrological, and then it goes through like in 3.2 is carbon and nitrogen or something. Okay, you need to know these cycles. Usually we do a fairly big project on this. Okay, you need to know them fairly well. Okay, but since like we just don't all have all the resources, things like that, as long as you're getting your assignments done, okay, make sure you kind of know what the cycles look like. I know it's hard to draw things out on your assignments, and so if you're able to make sure like you're looking through them, knowing what they look like, things like that, because you'll use them again next year in Bio 30. Okay, and so hydrological cycle you've seen since like grade 4, I think, is when you start learning it. Okay, so like you should know that cycle fairly well. Okay, the carbon cycle, okay, it's a little more in depth. And like nitrogen, you have to talk about like nitrogen fixation. How do we get the nitrogen into our soil? Things like that. Why is it important to rotate your crops? And so on. Phosphorus is kind of has to do with just weathering. Okay, and as it goes into the water and stuff, it carries the phosphorus around. And then oxygen, well, in oxygen, the carbon cycle we participate in every day. Okay, we breathe in carbon dioxide, we breathe out oxygen. Okay, and then plants kind of do the opposite. So make sure you know the cycles. They're a lot more in depth than what I just said. Okay, again, if you're doing your whole worksheets on this, you'll have no troubles kind of knowing the cycles at the end, and then there'll be good help for when it comes to the unit or the chapter 3 quiz and then their unit test. And so yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to email me and let me know and stuff. And again, like just try your best when you're doing those worksheets. I know they're kind of hard to fill in because they're meant to be doing by hand, but we're doing them online and not all of the things work out properly.